Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday. We're here for Tuesday Thoughts. And I thought, you know what, this deck came to mind this morning. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do an affirmators deck or card today. So we'll shuffle and we'll see what we come up with to talk about for today. It just kind of hit my brain. So I thought, ooh, this will be fun. But let's start with another product of their brand, the Affirmators Morning Mantras. Right? How cute is that thing? The little pig flying. Right. So let's see what we got here. Ooh, we're getting close to the end. Sad face. I flat out dare life to pleasantly surprise me because, spoiler alert, it always will. So again, I flat out dare life to pleasantly surprise me because, spoiler alert, it always will. So there you go. Dare life to be good to you. You know, like a surprise present, right? With all that confetti. You know, people tried to trick me with confetti for my birthday this year, and no bueno. I figured it out both times. Which means next year, if I ever get another birthday card, I'll probably have one, and I'll probably screw it up and get confetti everywhere. But it's the fun part, right? It's the fun part that counts. So again, I flat out dare life. Dare is italicized. I flat out dare life to pleasantly surprise me because, spoiler alert, it always will. So whether you expect good surprises or bad surprises from life, let it be a good one. What we put out there is what we get back. And so whatever you're putting out there is what you're going to get back. And if it's not something good, you're going to get back something bad. So again, flat out dare life to pleasantly surprise you. Because, spoiler alert, it always will when you allow that. So open yourself to the flow. Open yourself to all these wonderful things. Stop worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. Stop worrying about what's going to happen in the next minute or the next moment. Okay? Because, how life turns out is up to you. And it's up to how much you can put your vibration in order to receive, all these wonderful things in life. So open yourself up to life's surprises. Open yourself to the possibility that all things are possible. All beautiful things are possible. Because when we focus on the negative things, that is exactly what you're going to get back. All right. So, like I always tell people, even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, it believes in you. And that can be a bad thing if you're walking through life constantly being negative, constantly worrying about something, constantly thinking, oh, well, what if this happens? Or what if, oh, that's interesting. I was thinking about that this morning. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's the card for today. I was actually going to do self-love tomorrow, but I was thinking about it this morning because, sometimes life throws you curveballs and you sit there and think, not even you, it could be someone you see or know or whatever, and you're just like, really? Why? Why do we put ourselves in these situations where, we're not appreciated, where we're not respected or loved, where the mutual respect is not there? So I guess self-love is the card for today. That's interesting. Somebody's spirit guide must be here going, hey, they need to hear this message, so give it to them. All right. So, self-love. And their shirts say, you're the best. And the other one says, no, you are, just in case you can't read backwards. But they're holding hands. They're being friends. They look like little foxes carrying, that's funny, little foxes carrying rabbit bags. All right, then. So, self-love. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. Well, you know what? Every time I see this card, I think, whatever kind of self-love you want to give yourself, do it. But anyways, let's just read the card. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. I show myself love any way that I can. And when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that self? Got that self? So basically what this card is saying is that if you're not nice to yourself, you're going to make yourself sleep on the couch. Now, some people have incredibly couches, so that may not be punishment at all. But again, I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. I show myself love any way that I can, and when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that, self? So, anyways, let's just break this down, okay? I openly embrace a feeling of self-love. Now, it says the PG kind in parentheses, but come on, seriously? Whatever kind of self-love you want to give yourself, give it to yourself. So, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I think, and I was thinking about that earlier too, so it's funny that it says the PG kind, because a lot of times I think people, and this is just my opinion, okay? I am not trained in anything other than spiritual certifications. So, not psychological and stuff, but this is from my own experience. And this is from my own experience. And yeah, okay, it might go a little sideways to some people. And I really hope I don't lose people in this, okay, sorry, I don't know what's happening with my computer. All right, but, I don't want to lose people on this, because I think a lot of times, being single isn't easy, but I think, and well, it's not hard either. I think it's as hard as we make it, and it's as easy as we make it. But there are times when it is hard, because, you just want to cuddle, or you miss the kisses. I miss kissing, but you miss those things. You miss when you have a bad day and these arms are just around you going, it's going to be okay. They don't even have to say anything. You just feel it, like, okay, this is going to be okay. But I think sometimes because we miss that certain type of intimacy with somebody, even just the regular PG version of things, that we sometimes search out something to get that. And when someone gives it to us, not like that, when somebody gives us these intimate feelings, when they put your arms around you or kiss you or, whatever, we'll be drawn in, we'll be sucked in, right? But it's not always, sunshine and roses. Some people will draw you in and then they'll suck the fucking life out of you. But they've got you so drawn in, they've got you so kind of like a fly getting caught in a spider's web, right? And then they just eat you alive. Or like a black widow, or the praying mantis, they bring in these dudes and then boom, once they got what they wanted and they're carrying around a real baby sack, all of a sudden, bam. I know, right? The animal world is a very interesting place. Or the bug world. But anyways, I'm not saying that all people do that. I think sometimes they do. I watch enough true crime shows that, damn. But the point I'm trying to make is sometimes when we lack this self-love within ourselves, we look for something in other people. And sometimes we become so desperate for it that we'll just, connect and attach. Not even connect. We might just attach ourselves to the first person that comes along because maybe they make us feel good or, physically or emotionally. But what if they tear you down? What if they're bad to you? What if there's no mutual respect? It's just a one-sided, respect and you're the one giving it. When we lack self-love, we attach to what feels right. And even when we know that we're not necessarily being treated properly or being treated right, we stay. Because if sometimes getting what we're unable to give ourselves and having it come from somebody else, it keeps you there. And then you're afraid to lose that. You're afraid to lose that intimacy. So when it talks about, I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind, I'm not, this, you know what? I'm going to say this. This is kind of a humble brag, okay? And I say a humble brag in the sense that I've been single for a very, very long time. That's not the humble brag part. That's just, in my eyes, sometimes it's sad, but, I figure, hey, when the right person comes along, it'll just be magical, right? Just fiercely magical. And, but my humble brag is I have learned to take care of myself. And I'm not ashamed of that. Sometimes I giggle. See, sometimes I giggle. And I don't mean to, because, sex isn't a giggly thing, right? It's like a woo, yeah. But I think sometimes I giggle because I can't believe the shit's flying out of my mouth. Just kind of like, ah, did I just say that? Did I just literally, like, almost bare my soul? But I giggle when things are difficult for me to talk about. Like stuff like this. And, I can talk to, my sisters about this. I can talk to, just people in general, well, most people, some people, like good friends, right? You can just have these open conversations with them. And, the ones that can handle it. The other ones like, but the thing is that, we kind of stigmatize sex. We kind of stigmatize intimacy. Oh, that's not to be talked about outside of the house. Some people just have conversations. Some people go to therapy because maybe things aren't working right. Couples go to therapy. They have sex therapists to help people through their blocks, their mental blocks, or this, that, or the other. But what I'm talking about is personal intimacy. Learning how to, just love yourself in every single way and not being ashamed of it. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. I don't mean to be, this might get a little risque, but when we're all growing up and we have these teenage hormones, right? Things happen. And, it's just kind of like, do we stigmatize it, or do we just say, hey, you know what? This is a natural part of life, but don't go crazy, right? Don't go sleeping with everything that moves. But, unless you want to, that's not my choice. That's your decision. But if you do, be careful. That's what I got to say. Be careful. Just be safe, be safe, use protection, do all that stuff that you're supposed to do. And don't if you're not comfortable with, somebody saying, oh, but baby, I don't want to blah, 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 then just say no. It's like, no, you either whip that thing on or it ain't happening. We have to have that self-love. And I know this is a weird conversation, right? Everyone's thinking, oh my God, she really went there. But sometimes I think we have to. Sometimes I think we have to go there because, I was out with a couple of my cousins, Hanai cousins, like adopted cousins, a couple of months ago. And the subject somehow came up. And they just looked at me, and they're both older than me, and they both looked at me like, I cannot believe she's talking about this out in the open. They're like, no, we don't talk about it. It's like, why? Why? It was something one of them had said. And I think they just kind of said it in jest. And I was like, oh yeah, and I don't wear it on my sleeve that, hey, guess what? I got a bunch of toys laying around. No, but I'm also not ashamed of it anymore. I used to be very quiet and secretive about it. But the more I've learned the self-love, the more I've learned that, what I can't find right now, I can do for myself. Sometimes for me, that keeps me in a better place. That keeps me from going out there and just going flat under somebody, that you barely know. And like I said, if that's your thing, that's okay. That's your thing. But ask yourself, is it because there's that desire there and I want to find it? And then ask yourself how you feel after. If you're just there for if you're not there for the intimacy and you're just there for the good time, then hey, more power to you. I wish I could do that, but I get attached. Because my physical needs require some sort of actual intimacy. And so, finding it in ourselves is not a bad thing. Now, moving away from that, self-love in general is just important. Self-love is about self-respect, self-worth, self-awareness, self-care. And of course, self-love. Oh yeah, an older sibling. She's on, then I took you on, she took me on a tour of all of these, we call them the naughty stores in LA. I was like, dude, how do you know all these places? She took her mother-in-law to one of them. Oh my God, I know. I just like, and I only say that because, the reactions. My mom, on the other hand, I know. I don't mean to give anything away about my mom, but that was funny because older sibling took my parents on. My dad stayed in the coffee shop, and my mom was just wandering the store like, and I'm like, who is this Catholic woman? So, yeah, see, she just said, and your parents. Yeah, my dad just had his back to the whole store and just, my dad does not like watching the news, but that's what he watched for like an hour while older sibling took my mom. Again, remember, for anybody that might be new, older sibling is she's like my soul sister, but, so she's not an actual DNA relative, but she's like my soul sister, and she and my mom traipsed around this store. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, I can't believe, even the guy told me in the story, he's all, you need to lighten up. She's all, just let your mom have fun. It's like, I know, but it's my mother. She's kind of like, but I got over it. And then I thought, you know what? This is kind of cool that she's got an open mind, that she's got an open mind for this. So whatever. But yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty, I mean, my mom wouldn't shy away from that story. She's like, oh yeah, she's all, Laura took us there. And it's just like, and she wore it like she did. She wore it like a badge of honor. So, and she was touching everything. I know. It's my mom. It was a whole different side. I mean, I think I just kind of went all, I don't know, prudish for a second because it was my mom, and it was a whole side of her I'd never seen before. And it's like, who is this person? So it was more shock, I think, than anything else. Then it was just like, but anyway, I digress. So, but yeah, the important things about self-love is self-love, self-respect, self-worth, self-awareness, self-care. And they all really kind of encompass each other. You spend, oh God, you know what? I'm going to get metaphysical on you for a second. My face just got so like somebody's just doing this to my face. I swear I think my mom is here. My face just got itchy. But it feels like somebody's just got feathers on my face. But I'm guessing she's probably laughing because I can hear her laugh in my head. But sorry, just give me a second. Anyways, we spend every single day with ourselves. Every single moment. Every single, okay, wait, I have to scroll back here for a second. So older sibling said I wouldn't come near them. I did come near them. She just forgot. I walked over there and then I did an about face and walked right away because I was just like, who is this lady? Who is this lady? But, yeah. But that was me. And that was me, geez, almost 20 years ago. So, but I've changed. And I've certainly changed within the last 5 years, 10 years, really. And I started to discover things about myself, especially when I started to discover self-love. And not just, okay, let's talk up the emotional version of self-love now. We're moving away from that. And I might revisit that in a second, the physical side of self-love. But the emotional and mental side of self-love, it's so important to have. It's that little shield that we carry that wards off the people who want to emotionally abuse us, who want to tear us down, who want to physically abuse us. And I'm not saying, okay, so none of those things have happened to me. Well, there were instances, but it wasn't continuous. But that's a story for another day. But what I'm saying is we put ourselves in these situations and sometimes they get bad. And, it's not to say anything bad about people who have difficulty picking up and leaving from very bad situations, because those can get those can go sideways so fast. It's not even funny. But what I'm talking about, moving ourselves from the extreme situations and moving into the situations where, we have a choice. We have that choice. And then we wonder, why do we keep going back? Why do we keep going back to people that don't respect us, that don't care about us? I stayed with a man for 3 years who cheated on me all the time because I didn't think I could find anything better, because I didn't think anyone would love me. And I was afraid to find out. And that was until I caught them cheating on me. And then it was like, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm done. Because it was literally in my face now. And it was embarrassing because it was in public. And I can't take back that moment. But then when I look back on it, there's a part of me that wishes I could time travel, right? And go back to that girl and say, hey, you deserve so much better. You need to find your self-love, because you don't need anybody's validation but your own. You don't need anyone to validate you but yourself. If someone else validates you, that's a bonus. But the one person that has to validate you the most, that has to validate your self-love, validate your existence, validate your worth, validate your self-respect, is you. You. You have to give that to yourself. You have to show yourself how much you love yourself. You are allowed to do nice things for yourself. You're allowed to take yourself out to the movies or take yourself out to dinner, and don't worry what other people think. Oh, why is she alone? I got over that really fast. And I realized, it takes a lot of strength it takes a lot of strength to really kind of go out there and, take yourself out. I know in the movies when we see someone having dinner by themselves, it's supposed to be this melancholy moment in the movie, like, oh, woe to me, I'm so alone. But that's the movies, guys. When I go out by myself, when I've taken myself out, and I sometimes see these people that kind of look at me like, did she get stood up? Did she do this? Sometimes I just bring a journal or a book with me. And I shouldn't have to, but if you put it on the corner of the table, most people think, oh, okay, they're just on their own. And, I have excellent resting bitch face. So, I don't mean to, but apparently I just look very serious when I'm not smiling. When I'm just in resting mode. Sleep mode. But, but after a while, I stopped caring. I love to people watch, so I could literally sit somewhere for hours and just watch people, and I don't mean to be creepy about it, but you see the people. I mean, one time I was at Starbucks waiting for a friend, and I got there a little early, and this one table had 3 different people come in, and I think they were just meeting there for a survey or an interview or something, but it was so fascinating watching the different people come in and interacting with this one person who was there, who was fixed there for about 30 to 45 minutes. And it's fascinating to watch people, to just see life as it's moving by. Sometimes I wonder, where's this person going? What's this person doing? Are they having a bad day or are they having a good day? Sometimes when you see someone who's upset, maybe it helps them to walk by and say, you know what? I don't know if everything's okay, but I hope it gets better. And I've seen people do that too. I've done that. When you can see the person that's crying, or you can see the person that's hurting inside, and maybe they lost somebody and they can't be home. I mean, there have been times when I've sat in a Starbucks and just burst out crying. A lot of it happened after my mom died, and after Sissy died, and after my friend died. And it just happens. And, we used to be taught, oh, we can't show emotions in public. You know what? You need to let that shit out when it comes out. If you need to leave the place and go sit in your car for a few minutes, do it. If you need to leave and go sit in the bathroom for a few minutes, do it. If you need to turn your back to everybody, do it. But when we hide it and we hold it down, it just builds until it comes out. Self-love is not worrying what other people think. And what is one thing I always say, my favorite phrase is, what other people think of me is none of my business. We may think it is, but it's not. Because whatever somebody thinks about you that doesn't know you that well, it's an opinion. And sometimes we let people's opinions weigh us down. Sometimes we let the opinions of others, determine how we're going to feel about ourselves. And we can't do that. We can't do that. One of the most amazing things about self-love is, again, the fact that we don't need to be validated by other people. Yeah, people's opinions can hurt. Yeah, sometimes people are going to hurt us. And, It's going to happen. I always say this on almost every show. We're human. We have feelings. We have emotions. But, oh, hello, Catherine. Happy Tuesday. But when we have, good morning. When we have self-love, we probably recover better. If someone says something horrible to you, it might make you cry. It might sting and hurt. But when we have self-love, after we we ride through that emotion, we're very mindful about that emotion. Hey, how did it make me feel? How did this, that, or the other? But we remind ourselves, that's that person's problem. That's not mine. And so maybe after we've expressed the emotion, after maybe we've been sad or angry or hurt or all three, we move through it and remind ourselves, you know what? But it's okay. I'll be okay. Because I know who I am and I know what a good person I am. And I'm not going to let somebody else's misguided, comment about me hurt me. Because that could be just a reflection of how they're feeling. Maybe they don't have self-love. Maybe they're lacking in it. And the only way they know how to feel better is to tear other people down. Hurt people hurt people. And the interesting thing about hurt people hurting people is that a lot of times, a lot of people don't realize they are. It could be generational trauma. It could be, it could be a lot of different factors. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they were on the road and 5 billion people pissed them off on their way to work. And so you're the first person they looked at and lashed out at. And it could have been anybody, but it happened to be you. Then that's when we have to sit there and go, you know what? It's not about me. It's about them. And like I said, you might move through those emotions. You might move through the sadness, the hurt, the anger, or like I said, all three. Be mindful about these feelings. And when you get to the end of it, however long it takes you, remind yourself, you know what? The only person's validation I need is my own. Everybody else's validation is a bonus. Because we are the ones, again, who spend every single moment with ourselves. So don't you think you owe it to yourself to provide yourself with that self-love, with that self-respect? Don't let people mistreat you. Don't let people rake you over the coals for their own, misguided reasons. Take your power back. Take your power back. Put your foot down. And say, look, you know what? If you want to remain in my life, this is how it's going to happen. You're going to treat me better. And if they don't like that, they're probably not worth being in your life. And that's just, that's just it. We have to value ourselves. We have to give high regard to our self-worth, to our self-awareness, to our self-respect. When people treat us bad, think about how it makes you feel at the end of the day. Think about how it makes your self-respect feel, how your self-love feels. That's why I said, I may have been single for a long time in every way possible, but I've found my loopholes. I've found my own journey through intimacy, without needing somebody else in the room. And that doesn't mean I don't want somebody else in the room. See, I circled back. But what it means is that, I can't sacrifice myself for just one thing. And like I said, other people are okay with that. And hey, that's fine with me. You do you. But this is me. And for all the people who are like me, who would rather have some sort of intimacy, some sort of relationship that goes along with this, then it's okay. Find your way. Find your way around it and like I said, let's not judge other people for how they live their lives. That's their choice. Okay? Because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. Some people just like it. I'm not going to say, come on. Pretty sure we all do. But there are loopholes and there are ways that we have to journey through in order to, really just take care of ourselves. Self-love is the biggest gift you will ever give yourself. Self-love is the most important gift you will ever give yourself. Is it easy? Hell no. Is it hard? Not really. It's somewhere in between the two. Because it's about recognizing it, and it's about not repeating the same bad habits and bad patterns that we have. It's about honoring ourselves and what our needs and desires are. And it's about honoring how we want to approach that. That's why I said, don't judge other people. Don't judge other people for how they live their lives, or because, you know what? That's none of your business. Don't be that person. What they say about me is none of my business. Don't be that person that they're talking about. Just let them live their lives. Now, there are going to be people that you worry about, that you care about, that you think, what are they thinking? And we can talk to them till we're blue in the face. But until they find that self-awareness and until they find that self-love, there's not a whole lot we can do but be supportive and be understanding. And, maybe secretly pray, hope, and manifest or intend, set intentions that they find what it is they're looking for, so they stop returning to the bad things. They stop repeating habits because it's comfortable. Like I said, I spent almost 3 years with a man who cheated on me all the time. He broke up with me all the time to cheat on me as well. And, he always acted whenever I'd say, and, I think we all have the spidey instincts, whether you're a man or a woman, but I have gifts that intensify these things. So I always knew. Somehow I always knew. And then somebody confirmed it for me. And then I caught him in the act. And like I said, it was in a very public place. So it was rather embarrassing as well. And I, even back then though, I didn't take a hard enough look at myself. I didn't sit there and go, you deserve so much better. I said it for a second, and then I kind of fell back into line again. But eventually I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm out. See ya. Bye. And they didn't like it. They didn't like it when I moved on. But I did. And then I spent 3 more years with somebody who just forgot I was in the relationship. And it's okay. It's okay. I've moved through it. I moved past it. And I realized, you know what, Shelly Marie? We may have been single. We may have been single in every single way possible for the longest time. But when that magical moment finally does happen, excuse the trash trucks. I know you can hear it. I know you can hear it. But when we finally find whatever it is that we're looking for, that's super magical and everything, it's going to be worth it. And we're going to remind ourselves that, hey, you know what? This is what I was waiting for. This is what I was searching for. And some people search. Some people will date a lot to find it. And that's okay too. Like I said, let's not judge other people. How they come across their person is their thing. I'm kind of the organic type person. I tried the online things and boy, they just broke my soul. They broke my, it's just like, it did. It broke my soul. People are so fucking judgy. And, they only want to get to know what the outside looks like. They don't want to get, and this is when I was a lot thinner. They don't want to get to know the person inside. That the minute you tell them, sorry, I'm not on the first date. No, ain't happening. They're just like, okay. And then you just never hear from them. So it's like, I'm not here for a booty call. Okay. I did that in my past relationships where I actually had boyfriends that treated me that way. And I have found my self-respect. I have found my self-love. And like I said, if people want to live that way, that's their choice. But that's not for me. And if it's not for you, then you need to sit there and find your self-love. You need to find your loopholes on how to take care of yourself when these moments do arise. Like I said, we stigmatize these things far too much. The pleasuring of ourselves, right? If my mother was listening to this, I would be getting a Shelly Marie. But unfortunately, my dad doesn't watch my show. But that it's my parents. I think that's the last thing they really want to hear me talking about. But we as a society stigmatize these things far too much. And we shouldn't. It's a natural part of being a human. It's a natural part of being who we are. And once we remove these stigmas, once we remove these, inhibitions, is that what it is? Is that the right way? When we're uninhibited, that's probably a better way to move through life and move through the things that you need. And like I said, you do you. Whatever, well, you do you. Oh, that did not come out the way I intended it to, but hey, it works. But I mean, you be who you want to be. You go out there and do whatever it is you need to do. But like I said, if you don't feel so great afterwards and you feel kind of like, then maybe that's where the self-love work needs to be done. Some people can go out there, bam, no problem. Hey, thanks for the good time. And they're out the door. But other people like me would be like, it was fun while it lasted, but now I feel kind of empty. I feel kind of blue. I feel kind of sad. And if you're left with that feeling, it's time to work on the self-love. You should be working on your self-love anyways. Because like I said, people that go out there and say, hey, thanks for the good time, they may have their self-love right intact. They're just doing what brings them joy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're looking for something deeper and you think you're going to find it that way, work on the self-love. Self-love can be the most amazing gift you give yourself. Not necessarily emotionally and mentally. It will be the best thing you give yourself. Because like I said, remember, you spend every moment of every second of every day with yourself. You cannot get away from you. So instead of running from who you think you are, instead of running from who you want to be, or or what, however, I'm not even sure how I'm trying to put this, but let me put it this way. Instead of running from your self-love, run towards it. It can be scary. It can be scary. People might sit there and go, wow, you're just in love with yourself, aren't you? Don't listen to other people. Self-love is the most amazing and incredible gift you will ever give yourself. It's important. And when you have full self-love, you also have self-worth, self-respect, self-awareness, and you know how to do self-care in all different ways. But self-love is it's like the leader of that pack. I mean, and that's my personal opinion. Self-love is the leader of that pack. Because self-love in my life has brought me to self-respect. It has brought me to self-worth. It has brought me to self-awareness. And am I perfect at those every day? Hell no. Hell no. There are some days when my self-love is so sketchy, it's not even funny. But I have learned it, and I have cemented it enough in my life that I learned how to come back to it. There's a part of me in my subconscious that just says, hey, wake up, self-love, self-love. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. You just have to trust that it's going to be okay. All right? So, I'm going to read this one last time to keep it fresh in your mind. And then we're going to move on. So, self-love. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. Very true. I show myself love any way that I can, and when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that, self? Got that, self? So there you go. But I like this part right here. I show myself love any way that I can, and when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. Like I said, there are times when my self-love is sketchy AF. But when we be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. Be mindful of your feelings in that moment. Write it down if you have to. Do whatever you have to do to bring yourself back to a good place. But when we have self-love, it makes it a little easier to get back to that place. It makes it easier to remind ourselves, hey, you know what? This is a moment, this is a feeling, and, Older sibling. That's no threat to me. Well, you should threaten yourself. You should ramp up your self-love, sibling. So anyways, I know, sorry, personal message there. But anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. In more ways than possible, if necessary. But I know I'm giggling and smiling, but you know what? I really believe that we need to destigmatize the ways we take care of ourselves. You know, and I'm not trying to be goofy when I do that. I'm just saying that's the nod, right? When you know. So, okay. So see, Catherine said she needed the self-love push today. I am going to say this because I don't get to see Catherine on here very often, and I've said it a million times before. Catherine, she really embodies self-love. But she's showing, and I see it in her, you know, she's just so confident and, you know, just in, you know, her style and, you know, just her personality and the way she feels. But see, and she's like one of the happiest people I know. So, but see, when you hear this, you know, needed this self-love push today, it goes to show us that, you know what, we're not going to feel this every day. We are going to have moments where we trip. We might stumble and then we might fall, or we might trip and then catch ourselves. So hopefully this is one of those days where she was starting to trip and, you know, she caught herself. She popped on and thought, oh, hey, you know, maybe she was guided here today for this. But I hope you feel better, my friend. I really do. You are one of the most amazing humans I have ever met in my life. And I'm grateful that, you know, we still talk. So, but you know, I'm very blessed to have a lot of amazing people in my life. But I'll tell you this, because Catherine and I used to work together, and she was always really kind of a bright spot in the day. You know, it's like you always knew that if you weren't feeling right and she had a little bit of time, you know, she'd be there for you. And if she didn't have time, she would get up and she'd just hug you until she felt like you were okay. And I mean that. I mean, there would be times when I let go and she was still hugging me, and I would just hug her back, and she's like, I just don't feel like you're there yet. It's like, okay. You know, great mommy hugs. So, you know, we all need friends like that. And like I said, I'm blessed to have her in my corner. So, thank you. You're so sweet. But, you know, paybacks, right? Paybacks. You've done that for me. You know, and like I said, there's so many people in my life that I have that just encourage and push me forward on those days when I can't. And older sibling's one of them, but you know, she's my roommate, so you know, she sees me. You know, she doesn't see me every single moment of the day like I see me, but she sees me probably more than anybody else. So, you know, it's always good to have those people in your corner. But anyways, Catherine, I hope your day gets better. I'm sending you lots of love, hugs, good vibes, positive vibes. I'm going to send you a meme after this. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But anyways, to everybody else, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. You can find it under Shelly Marie Lucas under, on Facebook, or under the Aloha Perspective on my Facebook page, or YouTube. All right. So tomorrow, self-care Wednesday. Now I got to find a new subject because self-love was going to be my subject for tomorrow, but I'll find something. So anyways, again, have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're struggling with your self-love today, here's the push you need. You are amazing. And just repeat it till you feel it in the mirror. I am enough and I am lovable. Actually, let's go with that one. I am lovable. All right. So again, have a great, great day, everybody. And thank you so much for watching.